Hello everyone, welcome to Wellness Wednesdays with Shay. This is another video about another topic that was requested from my viewers. And so this is about loving and supporting someone who is experiencing addiction. And so I wanted to start off this conversation by explaining that there's various stages of addiction, and this comes from the stages of change model. But when you have a loved one who is experiencing an addiction, it's important to recognize which stage they are currently in. So I wanted to spend some time talking about those. So the first stage is the pre-contemplation stage. And in this stage, the person is not even really recognizing that there's a problem or thinking about changing their behavior. And so if you have a loved one who's in this stage and you're trying to get them to see that they have an issue, but they don't see it, you can imagine there's going to be a lot of conflict there. The next stage is contemplation, which is where people start to kind of have a little light bulb go off that maybe there is an issue, maybe there is something that they need to change. The next stage is preparation or determination. So the person decides to make a plan for how they're going to change. After that comes action, where they actually implement the plan. So they put the plan into motion for how they're going to change their problematic behavior. After that comes maintenance. This is where the person has been able to maintain their changed behavior over time. So they've been able to maintain sobriety, maybe for a few months or a few years. And then what happens very often with addiction is something called a relapse. And so this is when the person goes back to the problematic behavior or the problematic use of substances or whatever it is that the person is struggling with. And so relapse is a completely normal part of recovery, and it's to be expected. And many times in the clinical setting, therapists will work with patients to come up with a relapse prevention plan. So planning for when the relapse happens, how they're going to be able to move through that. So those are the stages of change. And if you're interested, you can do a quick Google search and look at them more in depth. But really, when you're supporting someone who is struggling with addiction, that is really the best place to start, is recognizing what stage they're in, and realizing that you have very, very little control over pushing them to be in a stage that they're not in. The last thing I wanted to share on this topic is the idea that it is possible to love someone and support someone through their addiction and also maintain healthy boundaries with them. So you can do both things at the same time, even though often they seem kind of counterintuitive and difficult to meet at the same time. So you can have healthy boundaries in terms of, I'm not going to talk to you when you're using, or I'm not going to lend you money anymore, or whatever it is, but also be able to really love and support that person, with encouraging words or, whatever you feel comfortable that you can give that's not overextending your boundaries. I know that's a really hard concept, but the focus should be that both things can exist at the same time. You can love this person and support them without enabling them, and while also maintaining your strong boundaries. I would say if you are someone who is a family member, friend, or loved one of someone who is struggling with addiction, the best thing you can do for yourself is also get support, because what happens is we sort of also become involved in whatever the addictive behavior is, and that has a ripple effect on us and our stress and our health. And so if you could get support yourself, that would be extremely helpful. So through therapy or groups, one example of a group is the Al-Anon groups, A-L-A-N-O-N. You can Google it and find a chapter in your area. So hopefully this was helpful. Please leave a comment. Let me know what else you want to hear about. I'm always happy to expand on this topic. And thanks for listening.